Welcome to The Real Review on Dame Good Radio, and I'm your host, Warbucks. The movie, or rather the cinematic television experience we're diving into today is The Vince Staples Show, Season 1, Episode 3, released in the year of our Lord 2024. Now, before we even peel back the layers of this particular onion, let's just sit in the pocket for a moment. We are living in a renaissance of afro-surrealism, a time where the mundane realities of Black existence are elevated to high art, twisted with a dry, absurdist humor that feels both alien and incredibly familiar. You have Glover's Atlanta, you have Boots Riley's work, and standing tall in that lineage is Vince Staples. This isn't just a rapper getting a TV deal. This is an auteur flexing a very specific, very Long Beach muscle. The anticipation for this show was palpable, thick in the air like humidity before a storm, and this episode, titled Brown Family, it is the storm. It is the calm. It is the hurricane of potato salad and family politics that we all know too well. The cultural atmosphere upon release was one of hungry curiosity. Could Vince translate his deadpan, nihilistic Twitter persona into a narrative format? The answer, specifically in this episode, is a resounding, deafening yes. We are looking at a piece of media that captures the specific texture of a Southern California Black family reunion with such granular detail, it feels like a documentary shot by Dali. Let's walk through the full experience. The tapestry of this episode is woven tight. It begins with the title sequence, standard fare but effective. And if you haven't heard my breakdown of the first two episodes, I suggest you pause this, go back into the archives, and get your life right. But we move forward. The curtain rises on a domestic standoff. We see a woman, Deja, approaching a house. There is a rhythm to her walk, a hesitation. Before she can even knock, the door swings open. Vince, the man himself. He hits her with the "look who finally showed up." She claims to be 5 minutes early. Vince, he's not having it. He drops a line that sets the tone for the entire runtime. "We don't operate on colored people time in this house. You're 10 minutes late." The tension here is delicious. It's the tension of introduction. Deja tries to bypass him, and Vince delivers a warning wrapped in a casual observation. "I wouldn't do that if I was you. She on one right now." Who is she? The matriarch? Miss Anita? And why is she on one? The macaroni and cheese assignment. Now, listeners, if you know, you know. The mac and cheese is not just a dish. It is a currency. It is a reputation. It is a weapon. Vince corrects Deja's assumption that his mother can't cook. "That's baking," he says, a crucial distinction. The interplay here is sharp, fast. Vince yelling for his mom, the immediate rebuke from inside the house about tardiness. It establishes the hierarchy instantly. Anita is the general. Vince is the weary lieutenant. Deja is the raw recruit walking into a minefield. When Anita appears, drink in hand, the dynamic shifts. Deja tries to compliment her hair. Anita's response isn't a thank you, it's a tactical interrogation of her son. "What did you tell this girl?" She sees right through the pleasantries. She hands Deja a family reunion shirt, yellow, bright, unavoidable. Deja tries to decline. Anita hits her with, "You need Jesus." Vince backs his mother. She right. We cut to the title scene again, but notice the visual language change. We see archival footage, grainy, beautiful VHS tape of what we assume are real Staples family reunions. It grounds the absurdity in reality. This isn't just fiction, it's memory. Then we are at the park. The cinematography here opens up. The lighting is natural, harsh California sun, casting long shadows. They exit the vehicle, Vince, Anita, and Deja carrying the sacred cargo, the mac and cheese. They are greeted by the church auntie archetype, a woman whose praise for Vince is as loud as her dress. She calls him anointed, claims she knew he was chosen by God. Vince deflects with his trademark humility, which is really just discomfort wearing a mask. "I don't know about all that," but she insists. Then the visual gag that anchors the first act, the yellow shirts. Anita realizes everyone is wearing yellow. She asks why. Paulette put it in the group text. The delivery of Anita's reaction, what group text, is Shakespearean. It is the betrayal of the century. The pettiness of family politics is revealed in a single line. Anita refuses to let the woman take her tray. Do not give that woman my tray. The line is drawn in the sand. Paulette has been an enemy since '88. Why? She introduced Anita to Vince's daddy. The layers, listeners, the layers of trauma wrapped in comedy. Anita gives Vince a mission: keep Deja away from Uncle James. And here we get the racial tension addressed with blunt force. You know she white, Anita says. Deja protests. Anita scoffs. Watch my food. You drop it, I'm dropping you. We move to Vince interacting with a cousin, the fat guy with the beard. This interaction is a masterclass in the success tax. The cousin daps him up, acts familiar. Vince has no clue who this man is. The cousin needs an alibi for his girlfriend. He wants Vince, famous, successful Vince, to lie for him. Tell her I was at the studio with you. Vince refuses, walking away. The cousin switches instantly from affection to aggression, fake laughing, yelling about studio time. It highlights the parasitic nature of fame within a family structure. Then the mac and cheese mystery deepens. Another pan has appeared. Anita is on the warpath. She interrogates Sharon, the setup committee member. I know a liar when I see one. Sharon cracks. It was Janine. The camera follows Anita like a predator stalking prey. She drags Deja along. Deja, who just wants to find Vince, is now an accomplice and a potential bail witness. Meanwhile, Vince finds the men, the domino table. The sound design here is crucial. The slam of the bones on the table, the distinct crack that echoes black masculinity in leisure. We meet the archetypes, the revolutionary uncle, Uncle Mike, and the old school cat. They discuss Uncle James, who is manning the grill in the background, ostracized. They say he hasn't been right since a case in '94. They talk about Tulsa, about Black Wall Street, about entrepreneurship. Uncle Mike hits Vince up for money. Let me hold something, nephew. It's the inevitable pitch. Vince declines. Uncle Mike's response? When you get it, I'ma come find you. Then Vince's phone vibrates. Uncle Mike laughs. That's the sound of money. Vince walks away to take a call. It's the homie trying to three-way in Tanisha. This scene is a chaotic interlude of relationship drama that has nothing to do with the reunion, but everything to do with Vince's inability to escape the noise of his life. The background track, Teach Me How to Dougie, plays, a nostalgic needle drop that places us in a specific era of cultural memory. The argument is petty, circular, and hilarious. Back to the bathroom, the confrontation. Anita corners Janine. The dialogue here is rapid fire. Janine claims lactose intolerance. Anita brings up the milkshakes from childhood. Chocolate was your favorite. The history, the weaponized nostalgia. Janine deflects blame to Trudy. The web of conspiracy grows. Anita and Deja have a moment. Deja challenges Anita. You a bully. It's a brave move. Anita respects strength, even if she doesn't show it. She calls Deja too nice, but there's a thawing of the ice. Then, the heart of the episode, Vince and Uncle James. James is at the grill, isolated. He offers Vince a leg. He speaks with a clarity that belies the family's description of him as crazy. He talks about the burden of success. I'm not a bank, I'm JJ. He reframes the family's greed as a desire for purpose. It is a profound shift in perspective. He asks Vince to get him a six-pack, throwing him the keys. Vince finds a note in the truck. Use those blessings to feed the family. The climax, the food line, the smoke, the visual of Vince coughing in the smoke is symbolic. He is literally suffocating in the atmosphere of the reunion. Paulette is serving the food. She tries to skip Anita's mac and cheese for Deja. Deja, in a moment of solidarity, demands the other one. She chooses Anita's side. They sit together. They bond over the nasty food Paulette served. And then the explosion. Anita confronts Paulette. PJ is a hoe. The insult hangs in the air, a shove, and then Deja throws the punch. The white girl, or light-skinned, depending on who you ask in the show, throws hands for her mother-in-law. It is the baptism by combat. The episode ends with Uncle James alone in his truck at the Coliseum recording a vlog for no one. Our memories, that's one thing they can't take away from us. Now let's get to the philosophical core, the message. Listeners, do not let the comedy fool you. This episode is a Trojan horse. On the surface, it's a farce about side dishes, but deep down, it is a sociological treatise on the Black American experience. The central theme here is the ecosystem of the reunion. For those who have never attended a Black family reunion, this is your ethnography. It captures the crabs in a barrel mentality, but flips it. Usually we see this as negative, people pulling you down, but Uncle James reframes it. He suggests that the grasping hands of family members are just attempts to touch the light to feel part of the success. The mac and cheese is not just food, it is heritage. When Anita fights for her dish, she is fighting for her relevance, her history, her place in the lineage. To have your dish rejected or replaced is a kind of social death. And we must discuss the Black Wall Street reference. When the uncles speak of Tulsa, they aren't just filling airtime, they are invoking a ghost. The destruction of Black wealth and the necessity to rebuild it is the shadow that hangs over the domino table. Vince represents the new wealth, the artist, the creator. The uncles represent the old dreams, real estate, brick and mortar. The tragedy is that they are both disconnected. Vince has the money but no plan. The uncles have the plan but no capital. It is the generational disconnect that keeps the community stagnant. And Uncle James, he is the oracle ostracized by the family for his mental state or his past failures. He is actually the only one who sees clearly. He is the specter of what happens when the pressure breaks you. His final monologue about memories being the only thing they can't take away, that is the thesis of the Black experience in America. Property can be seized, lives can be taken, but the memory of the reunion, of the Coliseum, of the family, that is sovereign territory. We are back. And now it is time for the obsessive deep dive. The details you missed while you were laughing at the fight. Let's talk about the costume design. The yellow shirts are not just a uniform. They are a visual device to isolate Vince and his immediate unit. Everyone else is a monolith, a yellow wall of expectation. Vince, Anita, and Deja are visually distinct, marking them as outsiders within their own bloodline. Did you catch the timeline? The case in 94, the beef from 88. These dates aren't random. 1988 was the height of the crack epidemic and the explosion of West Coast hip hop culture. 1994 was the crime bill era. The show is grounding the family's trauma in specific socio-political moments that ravaged Black communities. Uncle James isn't just crazy, he is a casualty of the 90s judicial system. The music cues. Teach Me How to Dougie, playing during the three-way call, is brilliant audio irony. A song about a dance craze, frivolous, fun, communal, playing over a scene of fractured communication and petty jealousy, and the beat burnt chicken. When Gladys walks off with the burnt chicken, it symbolizes the acceptance of mediocrity for the sake of tradition. It's good, she says, even though it's clearly ruined. How often do we accept the burnt chicken in our lives just to keep the peace? Also, a technical note on the cinematography. Notice the depth of field when Vince is at the grill. The background is blurred, soft, dreamlike. The smoke obscures the reality. It creates a sense of isolation even when surrounded by hundreds of people. This is the visual representation of Vince's internal state, alone in a crowd. It is time for the final verdict. This episode, Brown Family, is a triumph. It balances the surreal with the hyper-real. It gives us acting performances, particularly from the woman playing Anita, that deserve awards. The way she switches from venomous to vulnerable is a masterclass. The pacing is frantic yet controlled, mirroring the anxiety of a social gathering. The script is tight, with every line of dialogue serving either character or theme. I am giving The Vince Staples Show, Season 1, Episode 3, a popcorn bucket score of 5 out of 5, Paul. Why? Because it transcends the genre. It's not just a rapper show. It's not just a comedy. It is a piece of cultural preservation. It takes the chaos of the Black family reunion and frames it as high art. Compared to something like Dave, which focuses on the neuroses of the artist, this show focuses on the ecosystem that produced the artist. It is richer, darker, and funnier.